Welcome to Deep Dive, where we break down the latest sermon from Pastor Smith. This week, he preached a sermon called "From Faithless to Faithful," from John 20, verses 24 through 28. Let's read it. Now Thomas, called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples therefore said to him, "We have seen the Lord." So he said to them, "Unless I see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." And after 8 days, his disciples were again inside, and Thomas with them. Jesus came, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, "Peace to you." Then he said to Thomas, "Reach your finger here and look at my hands, and reach your hand here and put it into my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing." And Thomas answered and said to him, "My Lord and my God." A good one, a good passage. I love it. Again, I have to start before we get to the real deep, serious stuff of the message. I hate that we call Thomas Doubting Thomas, because if we just scoot back up a couple, it says, when he had said this, he showed them his hands and his side. This is the message Pastor preached about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is the first time he comes in and Thomas isn't with him. And he said, "Peace be with you." And when he said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. So there ain't no difference. They had to see it. They had to see his hands and his side. Thomas just missed it, which I think that piece is huge. I just think we got to quit calling him Doubting Thomas. They had to see his holes too to believe. They didn't just believe a word, but that's really not as important. Give Thomas some grace. I think it's important that the people we hang out with is so important. Thomas is even in this situation because he wasn't with the people he was supposed to be with. Why? I feel like it's interesting because as much as we're selfish people, we look out for ourselves. How come community in the same breath is so important to us?
I mean, I think the whole essence of this, as we've studied it, all the book of John, is talking about being from faithlessness to faithful, and how faith is such a key piece. Because even when I'm preaching next week, or just in that one verse, you're just talking about being blessed. The faith of no matter where I find myself, no matter what situation, no matter what community, no matter where God places me, no matter where He sends me, am I still hooked up, connected to God and God's people? And I think that's the real key to this. Because even when Jesus said that way back about who is my family, they that do the will of the Father. So where He takes us, He's going to connect us. And I just think sometimes the community piece of it is we're so locked in and communal from the earthly bloodline. So that then, like you said, every one of them will get put in a situation for your faith to be tested. Because it really boils back down to that. Because they've seen all of it. They've seen the example. They've seen the miracle. They all saw it. They all knew. But yet, because we preached it on Sunday, where He got separated. And it just makes it embarrassing. Just talk about 12 all the time. But as we brought it to my attention, understanding Judas is gone. So there's 11 total right now. And so one's gone from him, hung himself, and the fear, God, the master, the way he was killed, so what do you think they're all talking? So they got to gain. Community becomes important because we gain faith off each other. We gain hope off each other. We're being blessed by each other. And I think when you really see the importance of it all, that I'm no stronger than the next person beside me, and how we get this thing together. Let's come on. So now it's hard. Think about when you're out here by yourself, or 1 or 2, but can you imagine having 8 to 10, 12 people that think the way you think and rock solid you walking? Man, you're feeling strong, bold, peaceful, loving, and all the above. The fruits of the Spirit, they all just come. You You draw strength through that community. That community will love you. We're all drawing strength from one another.
Yeah. When God created humans, he said it's not good for man to be alone. You got all those texts. I think it's a proverb. It's definitely a proverb. And it says, like, one can get cold, but two is strong, but three is really never broken. And it's just understanding how much better we get together. And even just looking over my personal life, when I be getting in funks, it be whenever I'm not talking to people, when I'm not getting stuff out, when I'm not with the people I love. So I don't want to say the people that has really got what's best. Because you can talk to people, and you said it, sometimes you talk to people and you end up worse off because it's all negative, everything that's going bad, everything that's happening is bad, and you're always seeing the glass half empty. But then when you get around the people full of faith, now you start seeing it. Because that's one thing you'll quickly notice is if everyone around you has vision and they're trying to do stuff, you're going to feel horrible about yourself if you just keep on trying to be a Debbie Downer, always trying to drag on. For a time, they'll drag you and hope you'll gain faith, but eventually you'll get left off. I mean, what's the famous saying? You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Well, I think the word makes it plain. It's either going to draw you or drag you. So you can't be around 10 positive people and just stay negative. Because it's not going to happen. They're going to find something, no, man, you're not, it's either going to draw you or it's going to drag you away. And there's no in between. That's why it's plain when it says that. So when you walking through this, and even when you're going through all this, because like I shared Sunday, it's interesting because as you go through, there's nothing all around saying that how did you get separated? That's the thing that, as we say, the Bible doesn't put everything in there. Mm-hmm. But what would, like you say, it could be in multiple things. Just, woe it's me. Out of that, woe it's me. I just want to be by myself. Then looked up and find out, you done waddled here so long, everybody else done moved on because you're so self-focused. You wasn't looking out. You lost your vision. You lost your joy. You lost your peace. You lost your faith. So you lost it all. And everybody's over here strategizing, showing the vision, man, okay, and then somebody might say, well, you remember he said this was going to happen, then he's going to come back and see us? Oh, yeah, he did. So, you might not be thinking that way. That's why it's powerful to be around other brothers and sisters in Christ. Because when you need that encouragement, they'll say, no, but you remember he told us that. When we saw that, you remember he part of all the different things. Oh, that's right. Man, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we can get through this. Yes, this is just another test. Yes, we got the faith. So now I'm not, man, I walked in here faithless, and now that by the end of the text, look how faithful he was.
Yeah. And you say it, moving into that next segment, he ain't missed it again. He missed the first time. It was just 10 of them in the room. He missed that first time. But then 8 days later, when it happens again, all 11 of them are in there. He's in there, and he gets to see it. And to me, because it's like you said, we don't know why he's separated. So for me, there's two little avenues that you can go down. The woe is me attitude that you just explained. He's really depressed. He's sulking. He's just blah, blah, blah. Or he's just acting busy. Well, that piece of my life is over. Whatever he was, some of them are fishermen. Let me make sure I get back right, try to get back to the 3 years I've missed. And he's just working. And then he sees them walking through and they tell him, like, you get back with my boys where I need to get. Whichever way it is, both of them are just excuses. We have to find time to get with the people. You often tell the story of like the 14 pastors that was with Pastor Short or whatever, and preachers, I should say. And he'd be like, all right, let's go to this revival. And it only be you that would just stop and go. It's not that you're free. Coaching at the time, I'm assuming, Mary got the kids, but you always go. And that's the thing, always being willing to go and not figuring out why I can't. The Bible said, don't forsake the assembly. So when that door is open, when there's somewhere I can be, I need to be, not just for the sake of being. No, I'm going with the expectation of getting something that's going to change my life. Because once my life has changed, it's going to change everyone else's life that I come in contact with. So we got to just wipe the excuses and make sure we in that room when everything is going down.
Yeah, I think it's part of the mindset where we talked about a few weeks ago, I get to versus I have to.
Yeah.
Because even when they talked about Thomas being called the twin, And when I was studying that, it was talked about him, the twin of the mastery that goes on the inside. We want to go do the right thing, but evil's ever present. We find ourselves doing the wrong thing that Paul had talked about. And we all have that fight. So the fight of, man, I'm full of faith. Then there's a fight. I ain't got no faith. So you I got, man, I have no doubt. And then, man, part of my life goes wrong and ain't nothing but doubt. So there's a mastery going on, and which one gonna win out? So we see what happened in the first part that didn't win out, and we saw all this doubt kick in. The second phase, 8 days later, new beginnings, he's a part of it, and we see now how it comes full circle. Yeah. And I think that's just typical life, because when I was reading it and studying, talking about, and guess what, guys? We all deal with that. Like you just said in the early introduction part of it. We give him some grace because none of them, the doubt kicked in. We all have that, and I like how we use the term, the mastery of it. And one of those masters going to overtake you. The spirit is strong, but the flesh is weak. And the flesh is strong, the spirit is, and so which one you feed? So vice versa. One of them's trying to, and you're constantly fighting every day. You're getting up, man, I'm going to feed it. I'm going to do my prayer. I'm going to do my devotion. I'm going to do my meditations. I'm going to get this done so that then when the stuff comes out here, I have no doubt. So then the songwriter, when I woke up this morning, I have no doubt. No doubt, no matter what's going to happen, I have no doubt because the Lord, he will provide. He will take care of me. And when you walk in that kind of mindset, it's just it's a game changer.
It is. It's so much of a game changer. It leaves Thomas knowing exactly who Jesus is, my God and my Lord. And you only get those realizations. The other time, I'm blanking on which disciple it was. Was it Peter? And he said, flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but the Father did. And it's like, you have to put yourself in these positions for this to happen. It doesn't just happen. I mean, I think of Elisha as one of my favorites because Elijah kept telling him, stay here, I gotta go. And he refused. He kept on following. He kept on following him. And then he asked, what do you want? I want a double portion of whatever it is you got. And it's like, he wanted it. So when you talk about the get to versus have to, it's not a Jonas situation where he's sitting up under a tree mad that he has to go save these people, but he's excited. He wants this responsibility. He wants to be this. And if we truly had that type of passion for God, I want to understand God because I see the lives of so many people. So if I understand what he's saying, I'm in tune with what he's trying to do. When I'm in tune, I can act accordingly to really help these people's lives. Sometimes we're not doing, Paul has one of those famous texts, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. I don't want to be doing things that's good. I want to make sure it's what God wants right in this moment. Because we can see in the Old Testament so many times, and this is where people say the Bible contradicts itself because God will say one thing at this time and say this. No, it's just a different time. And he talks about it in Ecclesiastes. There's a time for this, there's a time for that. And I want to make sure I know what the time is today. I know what you did here. I know what you did there. I want to know what you're wanting done now. And that's where we'll really be in accord with God so that we can really change our community, our world, and everything moving forward from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's real good. I think it just goes back to if this is what they say, the darkest time that the world had ever seen, because their master, their savior, their Lord was killed, and they didn't know. And on 2 different occasions, within an 8 to 10 day span, look what he did. Walked through the wall, didn't come through no door, appeared in the midst of them, that brought them peace. And brothers, I'm just telling you, because I can't even imagine what they were going through. Man, we done been This is all we've known for 3.5 years, and now all of a sudden the world's turned upside down. So he just knew he had to get them in a position to let them see how quick they could lose their faith, how quick doubt could come in. And then he shows up on 2 different occasions, and it says he walked through the wall and spoke, "Peace be with you," in the midst of them. And even if you keep on saying, it's just so powerful that no matter what we go through, no matter what the situation, no matter the circumstances, we just got to know that he is there walking with us. I mean, and sometimes, we try to, but that's as simple as it gets.
That's as simple.
We try, God, you're not going to handle whatever it is, big, small, or whatever, but man, just to know, wow, man, he's with me in this. I'm good. I can make it through this because he's with me in this, man. I'm good. I'm telling you, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know why this happened to me, but I am good because I know that he walked through the wall and I heard him say, "Peace."
Yeah.
And now he's in the midst of our stuff. So, and that's just a beautiful thing to be able to hear, to be so in tune and focused on the Lord, knowing what you're looking for, to hear those words, man. And as I'm sitting there just thinking in real time now, how that has to be through the storms and the situations of life, to be able to hear those things. Peace, be still.
Yeah. And that's all he said at the time. Like, he really wanted to make sure y'all got peace in this time. That was his focus. It wasn't joy. It wasn't that. He kept saying peace. And when you got peace, you can do fully what God's called you to do, and you can live with whatever comes of it. Jesus showed us that through his whole life. And that's really part of it, man. Just understanding whose mission we're doing.
Yeah.
When you understand whose mission you're doing, you can have peace in the situation. The darkest times, you're bleeding blood, you're anxious. But when you know who you're doing it for, you know he's going to see you through the whole other side, man. We got to have faith. That's really what this text comes down to. If we wait to be ready, if we wait to be certain, if we wait to know everything, you done missed the moment. We have to have faith. We can see it in the physical world. There's so many opportunities we would have missed if we would have waited to know everything. If you don't just go for it when you have the peace, that's the thing. You don't do nothing without the peace, because God ain't going to tell you to do something and not give you peace about it. Now, ready, that's a different story. But you know deep down when he's saying, you gotta see. And you just never know. Doesn't mean it's going to succeed, doesn't mean it's going to fail. But it's telling you, whatever you're going to get out of this, you need it. Don't be missing any more rooms. Get in the room. When Jesus comes to bring peace, to send us out, be in the room. You don't want to miss it. What's your final words?
I think that's real good, because even when you sit here and you think about it, in the 2 texts that we preached the last 2 Sundays, and I just think it's just powerful you really think about that. And Jesus came, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, "Peace to you." So look what he's going to give you first. And then he said to Thomas. So like you said, don't move, get in the room, be still, get the church, get the Bible study, get the Sunday school. Just get in the room and be still. Don't, sometimes you try to work, you try to do, he didn't say do anything. He said be still, and then guess what? Peace be with you. And that's just beautiful. Then look what he said. Then he said, then he's going to give you the instructions. You're going to learn in Sunday school. You're going to learn about it. You're going to learn in church service. Reach your finger here and look at my hands, and reach your hand here and put it into my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing. And then all of a sudden, Thomas responds. And Thomas answered and said to him, "My Lord and my God." I just pray that we all get to that personal revelation. Yep. And that's what it is here, that personal revelation. I don't even know why my faith got on slim. It's just, I don't know why I was doubting that. I don't know why I feel like I was half empty. But I got fueled up that quick. And my God, my Lord. And that's what I want you to think about. It don't take much for God to change your circumstances.
Get in the room. We'll see you soon. Love you.